a lot of the times I realized that people were trying to put me down in a very discreet and minute way. A discreet and minute way that I wasn't able to look at in a way where I could understand it, in a way where I could understand that I'm letting things slip under the rug. Maybe sometimes it's a comment someone makes, maybe it's an action someone makes, or maybe someone gives you this look of contempt or lack of respect from. And you start to realize these things. You start to realize that people sometimes will give you signs of how they feel about you. And it's important for us as adults or as people who are become more aware to recognize this and not to overlook it. Sometimes I would overlook it because I didn't want to feel like I was the same person I was. I didn't want to feel like I was this person that could be stepped on or manipulated or taken advantage of. So I would constantly overlook how people would say things or do things because I didn't want to see it for what it was. I didn't want to see it for what it actually is. I wanted to keep living in my world, the screen that I created, the screen where I felt pure and innocent and protected from all the things that other people were not protected from, things that are typical and very common for people to go through in life. And I kept wanting to protect myself from that. I wanted to make myself the excuse in society of not getting hurt or belittled or looked down upon. I was lucky and fortunate enough to work in a school that allowed me to see these things. I was able to see these things through students because with kids, it's not very important for them to hide things. Sometimes it's important for them to maybe just act up or express themselves. And when they become adults, they get better and better at covering it up and hiding it. But when they're young, they still have those emotions, those feelings where they can be impulsive about it, not very strategic about it. And it's very important that I did realize that. And I did realize it because they made me see the things that I was running away from when I was in high school. A lot of the things that I was trying to cover up, the things that I created an image of myself in so I don't have to withstand or take the stuff that they were giving me back in the day. You know, I had came back from Egypt from going to school, and I didn't know how to like stand up for myself or how to deal with confrontations and situations and have an outlet for my pain. So I created this image of myself that I was like this pure angelic human, and maybe if I portrayed that into the world, people would not harm me. But I was mistaken. I realized that they made me more of a target because I was somehow trying to repulse or push back from the pain that came with being at that time in my life, from the background I was from. You know, post 9/11, you know, I wasn't protected from these things. You know, people had a strong hatred towards Muslims and Arabs. So I was trying to like cover up and protect myself, and hopefully people would see me for who I was. Although they did see me, but they see me for as a target. And I'm making this video today after 20 years or so because I started to recognize it. I started recognizing it as I got older, how I portrayed myself a certain way. And the thing is, when you get older, you know, people don't care. You know, people are just gonna be people. And they did shred my whole play or the whole image of who I put myself out to be, right? People made me see that my play was a fail, it wasn't a success. People didn't care, right? Whether you're nice or not, maybe your friends and family do, but the world doesn't care. The world will still do what the world wants to do. They don't care how big your heart is, how kind you are to them. They don't give a shit. People do not care. And it hurt. It hurt because they shattered the reality that I was living in. But thankfully, a new version of myself arose, a more aware, more determined, more eager, and more stable version or image of who I was, making it more complicated for people to actually poke holes into it or belittle and get to my head. I knew myself from a better lens, a more realistic lens, a lens that I'm living in this world in. And it makes you see people a lot better because you see yourself better. And you're no longer living in this delusional world. Although I do live in somewhat of probably a delusional world, it is not as big as it used to be. Before, it was very intentional how I created that world. I wanted to do that. I wanted to protect myself. But now I'm in a place where I could live more freely and abundantly because I know I have someone, something protecting me. I made this video because I wanted people to recognize the story that they created, whether it's hurting them or pushing them. Remember the story that you created and become aware of the story that you put out there, the image that you try to put out to the world, the image that you want people to see, and the play story that you want to be playing in. Recognize this and recognize your story because you can alternate your story. Don't forget that. Take care, guys.